Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is Wednesday, March 9th, and oh, what a difference 24 hours can make. Lots of price action last night. That was on the back of some leaked documents from Janet Yellen talking about the executive orders that were coming out this morning, and we're just finding out that, this regulational clarity from the US government, it's going to, kind of foster innovation. It's not going to be destructive. Kind of regulation that people were fearing, and the market is responding favorably to that. We also have some major moves in several major indices across the globe. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. But before we get started, CJ, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing well, Monty. And yeah, not only is that an executive order impacting price, but the potential talks for a diplomatic resolution in the Ukraine between Russia definitely played into price action last night as well. Ever since we kind of had the president of Ukraine, I believe, saying, he wouldn't give an inch or something of that sort. So obviously that can throw a little bit more just the lack of bullish momentum into the market. But man, so many movers across the market. Oil way down, the DXY is way down. Rates still up a little bit. Go check out the DAX chart, German stock index. It's up more than ARK today. It's like up 6%, which is quite wild. Just shows you the violence of a lot of the squeezes, short squeezes, namely, that have been occurring. So interesting to see how those churn out and what happens throughout the rest of the day. But I'm doing good, Monty. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Always good to see that positive price action. And like you said, we had one of the usual suspects accompanying this sort of violent move up, that being short liquidations. And, it was a significant number, as you can see here. The last time we had liquidations this significant, we'd actually have to go back to February 28th when we kind of made that major move up from 38K up to the 43K range. We saw just last night about 64 million in short liquidations in a 4-hour period. That was followed by even more short liquidations, about 28 million worth in the next 4 hours. And, that resulted in this catapulting price action up to the 42K range. Also, obviously, like we mentioned, we had this positive news, these headlines driving price. Biden orders government to study digital dollar. And yeah, like we kind of touched on at the beginning of the episode, one thing that was very clear from this executive order was the US's intentions to kind of foster the development of cryptocurrency and not hinder any sort of innovation that is going on in the space. Right now, the US is in many senses a leader in cryptocurrencies. Much of the intellectual property that kind of fuels cryptocurrency infrastructure across the globe, it comes from the United States. So I think the government realizes that. They're realizing that they need to take steps to not hinder that sort of innovation and continue to make the U.S. a world leader in this emerging financial market. So obviously, Bitcoin responding very favorably to this price action or to that news, heading up above that 40K level, hitting a little bit of resistance at 42.5, but ultimately, very, very nice move to start the morning. And like you pointed out, CJ, many other indices across the board showing some very, very volatile price action. So setting us up for a very interesting Wednesday here. What do you have your eye on, as we start the day?
Well, like you said, there's so many. So why don't we just go and open up the list? Because you don't get a day of price action like this quite often. So it's interesting. Let's observe. So yeah, starting off with the Bitcoin, regardless of how we may feel or how anyone may feel for that matter, I'm not trying to say one specific way, but like regardless of the fundamentals, we are seeing some really good price action in the sense of higher lows, consistently hitting one resistance level. It looks like the trend wants to continue breaking upward now that we've put in 3 consecutive higher lows. That's typically a really good sign. Especially now that we're above that 41 level. That was very important. And we'll see if we can actually continue consolidating around this 42 level, or maybe the short squeeze is just a little bit more short-lived, so to speak. So we'll get back into Bitcoin. I do want to break it down also on some higher time frames, but first, let's go to some of the largest movers today. Just starting with the S&P, nice gap up at about 2%. Let's see where the oscillators are. Still continuing to see divergence within major oscillators such as the RSI, MACD. NASDAQ as well, nice gap up. Haven't really seen any follow through since the open, but then again, we've only been open for about a little over half an hour now. DAX coming down a little bit since it's open, as I had said just recently. This was up, roughly over 6% with a major gap to the upside. So, perhaps we fill that one, but we'll see. Either way, DXY, haven't seen it move like this in quite a while. Something that we talked about, I believe, yesterday. I forget whether it was on the Daily Crypto Byte or the members only Doge of the day, but we were talking about this 9, things that came up, how we might come down and potentially back test this level before moving higher. As you can see, this TD sequential 9 is presenting a nice support level. So we'll see if the DXY holds there at roughly 97.9. But interesting forex trade there. Also, oil is it's still trending upward, but you can see that it is starting to back off a little bit with the talks of potential collaboration and agreement of peace talks between Ukraine and Russia that will definitely impact oil prices profoundly. And I guess the last thing we can cover is just rates. They're still going up even after the larger decline last week, but you can see this overall trend is still very intact, still consistently creating higher highs and higher lows. So, we'll see how priced in this is to the market, but it is still moving up as conflicts kind of dissipate. It looks like people are starting to price in the probability of rate hikes, also like going forth. So just wanted to share that. But yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to see how just the shift in risk tolerance has affected these markets over the last 24 hours. And it's not just those indices that you just mentioned, CJ. Also, many cryptocurrency assets that have been resilient over the last, couple weeks here, showing some very, very positive price action. Just to touch on a few real quick, you could probably guess them if you've been paying attention in the crypto markets over the last couple weeks here. But first and foremost, Luna, up almost 16% today, retesting the $100 level. So very, very strong move for Luna. Also, near protocol, 15% move to the upside as well. Still significantly off the highs, but this is an asset that showed signs of resilience earlier in the month, on the first of the month, and on February 28th as well. This thing made a nice move and is making a nice move here again. And last, Atom as well. Like Near, significantly off the highs, but today one of the best performers, even in a sea of green. This thing kind of stands out, up almost 12% today, making a very nice move. So, some very, very nice volatility here. And, we're only a couple hours into the trading day. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. We also have SEC Chair Gary Gensler speaking in just a few minutes here. So that will likely have some effect on the market. But for the time being, looking very positive. But yeah, we'll have to keep our eye on, I think the Qs and also Bitcoin, just to see how these alts can run. But anything else you're keeping an eye on here, CJ, as we enter the day?
No, like you mentioned, that speech from Gary Gensler is going to be very important. Luna, I can see now breaking over $99, touched 100 earlier in the day. So that one just looking really strong. All-time high was roughly 103. So Luna's looking to make new all-time highs, which is quite interesting as we open up here this morning. But yeah, that's just about all I have. If you guys would like to learn more and hear a little bit more about our trade setups and things we're looking at on a daily basis in terms of execution, you can check out our service in the link in the description below, marketrebellion.com/try crypto. Also, if you like the content you saw today here, please like and subscribe. That helps us quite a bit. And I hope you have a wonderful day in the world wherever you are. But thank